Hello everyone, thank you for tuning in. I am Anomaly, also known as John, and welcome to the $5 Journey channel. Well, today we're going to actually talk about compound interest, all right? Compound interest, it's not that difficult to understand. Basically what it is you take your money and you invest in some sort of financial vehicle. It could be mutual fund, could be stock, could be a CD, could be, there's a bunch of different things. Could be real estate, a real estate investment trust, could be any of those things. And those things will give you a certain return on the money that you put in. So if you go, let's say for a CD, maybe it'll say, okay, if you put in $1,000 over the course of a year, we will give you a 3% return on your money. So after the course of a year, you will get, you'll get your $1,000, but you'll also get 3% of that afterwards, which is roughly about $30. It'd actually probably be a little bit more based off of the way that things compound. But essentially, compound interest is, it takes your money, which is also called the principal, and over time, it increases the amount of money to the principal. So in the case that I just said, if you have $1,000, you start out with that, and your interest rate, your interest rate return is 3%. Then that means that after the end of that period of time, you'll have 3% more than the $1,000 that you initially started with. Okay, so compound interest, it could be one of those things that's really, really amazing. I don't know if anyone has ever heard of the doubling of the penny. So how that goes is someone's asked, okay, would you rather have $1 million today, or would you rather have a penny doubling over the next 30 days? Right? And a lot of times people will choose, okay, well, I'll take the $1 million now. But if you look at a penny doubling over the course of time, over the course of 30 days, you'll end up with much more than $1 million. So it'll start off with a penny, and then it'll go to 2 cents, and that 2 cents will go to 4 cents and 8 cents, and so on and so forth. So by the end of that 30-day period, you have a whole lot more money than when you originally started. Well, compound interest works pretty much the same exact way. What you start with will be less than what you end with. So what you end with will actually be more. Now, I put up 2 examples, okay? One is worker 1, all right? The second example is worker 2, all right? Worker 1, all right? This worker 1, he or she doesn't do anything as far as investment vehicles, and as far as financial investments, any things like that. Worker 1 has not bought the $5 Journey book, okay? So worker 1, they go to work, he or she busts his butt and does everything that they're supposed to do. And in turn, at the end of the week or bi-weekly, they get some money, they get a paycheck, right? And then that worker number 1, he or she is really happy about the paycheck that they've gotten. But then, of course, then the bills come in. Oh, see, that's why worker 1 is just really, really upset. I don't know if you guys can see the frown there. Okay, and then the bills get paid, and this represents a black hole. So at the end of the day, worker 1 doesn't really see too much extra with that money. A lot of times we'll see people are working and they're not even making it check to check. There's a whole lot more week left at the end of their money. So this is worker 1, okay? Worker 2 has taken advantage of the concept of compound interest. Okay, so they work their 9 to 5, they get their money, and this could be a business owner. It doesn't necessarily have to be someone who's working a 9 to 5 business owner. And let me just say, actually, business owners tend to work much more than regular 9 to 5 people, especially at the start of the business. When you're first starting up, a lot of times, really it's you putting in the work, it's you putting in the effort, it's you putting in, the phone calls and the sacrifices that are needed to actually make that business up and running and also profitable. But I digress. Okay, so worker number 2, they work their 9 to 5, or maybe they're a business owner, they're an entrepreneur, and they get their money. Okay, so they're happy. Now worker 2 stays happy, unlike worker 1. So worker 2 stays happy. Why? I mean, worker 2 still has bills. What's this here? Worker 2 has investments, has a financial vehicle, and the financial vehicle comes with compound interest. So that compound interest gives them a rate of return on their money. So they put their money in. Maybe it's $100 a week. Maybe it's $100 a month. Maybe it's $1,000 a month. Maybe it's how the $5 journey wants to get you to the $500 per week point. Maybe that's what it is. So worker two is really happy. So what happens with worker two? Okay, yeah, their money goes towards bills, but they take some portion of that money and they put it into one of these financial vehicles. Okay, now the financial vehicles, they don't have to do anything on. They just put their money there, and the financial vehicles will give them some sort of interest rate on it. They don't have to worry about going on a family trip. The financial vehicle is still moving and going about. Financial vehicles, they don't need rest. They don't need vacation time. They're not real living beings, so they don't need to take off any sick leave. They don't need anything like that. All right, they don't need to stop to eat, to take a water break, to grab some coffee. They don't need any of that kind of stuff. So the financial vehicle, which has compound interest, is always working. All right, and gives back more money to worker number two. So worker number two is happy. Now, so worker number two not only has money coming in from their work or from their business, but they also have money coming in from this financial vehicle as well. All right, and they're able to build and grow and progress financially. Now, you may say, oh, well, how can I get a hold of some of these financial vehicles? As I've mentioned in other videos and also on Facebook and in Twitter, there's different financial vehicles that you can invest in, such as there's Stash, there's Acorns, there's real estate, there's stock, there's cryptocurrency, there's commodities, there's all kinds of different things. Stay tuned to our channel, and as we go, as I talk to you guys, look out for different posts on Facebook, on Twitter, and we'll go into some more of these financial vehicles. But as I've already mentioned, I have mentioned Acorns before a couple of times. I mentioned Stash a couple of times. There's also another app called Betterment. Betterment, I hear, is really great. I mentioned that. There's also Bitcoins. I'm actually going to place a link to Stash. I'm also going to place a link to I'll place a link to Betterment, but I'll also place a link to Acorns in the video below. Okay, so subscribe, like the video if that's your situation, and stay tuned in. Okay, if you have any questions, any comments, please feel free to leave them. Thanks, and bye.